Hi everyone, Sat here. So in this video we'll be actually getting the Gargoyle to switch between stone and the flesh version, or the flying one. So it's only one line of code actually, which is pretty crazy. That allows us to check how much light there is in the room. But let's get started. And this is, if you want this to be, this can be the final video of the series for you if you just want to know about light. But there will be more going forward. Alright, here we go. So let's add in a script and let's call it light controller. And this is going to use the estimator, the light estimator in ARCore to allow us to adjust our game object based off of the light. So if there's a lot of light, we can have the flying, also the stone statue, stone gargoyle, and if there's no light, then we can have the flying one, since the gargoyles usually come to life at night. I think I have that right. So let's start off by using Google ARCore, because we're going to need that. And let's also put in a game object, and let's call that game object stone statue, and then let's do public game object flying statue. And then let's also put in the update method, the actual ARCore code that we require. So we're going to do frame, which is actually from ARCore, frame dot light estimate dot pixel intensity. Now I'll just go back for a second and put a full stop on this pixel intensity so we can have a quick read of this. This gets an average pixel intensity. The value ranges from 0 to 1, where 0 represents black and 1 represents white. So white is like insanely bright and black is quite dark. The lights are probably going to be off at that point, but white, we're probably never going to reach white. So bright will probably be around like 0.5, maybe 5, so 0.5, 0.6, maybe higher than that, but we'll have to play around on the device to see that. So why don't we do this? Let's do if frame intensity, frame.light estimate.pixel intensity is above 0.5. Don't know what happened there. It's above 0.5. We'll do something, otherwise we'll do something else. So what we'll do is, if it's super bright, we want the stone statue to be on, and if it's dark, we want it to be off. So let's do stone statue dot set active state is true, and then we want the flying one to be false, and then we just want to reverse this for when it's the other way around, which is okay there. Flying statue will be true when it's dark. So that should, I believe, switch things on and off again. Between the statues anyway, but it won't have an effect on any of the kinematics or any of the physics. So to do that, we want to go back here and we want to actually have a reference to this rigid body. So let's also do public, let me just check something. Is the script and the gargoyle parent in the same one? Yes, they are. So what we can actually do is just have a private one, private rigid body RG, and we can just do, at the start of this, we can do rg is equal to, and then get component rigid body, because it's on the same game object. It can just get component and pull it straight from there. We don't need to drag it in necessarily. So when the light estimation is off, so when it's dark, in fact what I'll do is I'll just put it on here like this, bright, and then I'll just do dark here, just so it's a little bit clearer for us. So when it's bright, we want the rigid body, rigid.kinematic, to equal true. And when it's dark, we want the kinematic to rigid body dot is kinematic to equal false. And I'll show you why. We haven't actually added, because in the last video I removed the animation. So we'll probably add some sort of animation to the gargoyle as well, so this will make more sense, but for now I think I'll leave that in there. Alright, so that looks like it should swap between the two. What we need to do is put the stone gargoyle here and the flying gargoyle in here. And then we also need to make sure we apply to our prefab, and then we need to do one other thing, and that is make sure our example controller, which is this hello AR controller, is no longer pointing to Andy. We want to actually point to this gargoyle one, because that's what we're going to put down. So let's put down gargoyle parent here, there. So we'll place a gargoyle when the game starts, and then hopefully when it's bright the gargoyle will be stone, and then when it's dark the gargoyle will start to fly if the pixels is above or below the same, right? So we don't actually know if this is correct or not, right? So what I'm also going to do is, just for us to be able to play around with this pixel intensity, I'm going to do a debug bug.log pixel intensity. Now we can see what the actual light intensity is when I switch the light off and on in my room, how that affects it. And I'm also not going to have this as 0.5. I'm going to have this as light check, right? Although I haven't created that field, I'm going to create that field now. So light, it's going to be a float, and I'm going to call it light check, and I'm going to put that as equals 0.5. No, I'm not going to put it there. I'm just going to put it like that, because if I put the number there, sometimes I'll get confused and I'll change it in the script, when actually it won't change in the script from that point on. It would only change here once that finishes coming in. There we go. Once it's finished loading, there we go. So I'll put that as 0.5. Oh, not minus. That's not right at all. 0.5, and then I hit apply again. So now, oh no, I can't apply that. I have to make sure it's active, then apply. Otherwise, our prefab will be invisible. We don't want that. So now our prefab has 0.5, and then I'll hide this one in the scene, because I'll leave this one in for testing for us when we're testing. And this is the prefab though that will be actually placed on the screen. Alright, so I think we're ready to test. So I'll put this on my device. And we should, because I've got instant preview on here on my phone, we should be able to immediately see what this looks like, I hope anyway. Okay, so I've got it working on my phone here. You can see the screen. And I've also just pulled up the ARCore instant preview video that I've done as well in the past, so you can have a look at that, how to set that up. Okay, so we've got our code instant preview working. If I tap, you can see this the stone gargoyle, which is pretty cool looking. And we've got here it's over 0.5, so we can see the current light estimation in the room. It's quite high actually, 0.6 something, but it's quite bright in my room, but it's still not, you know, a 1 or anything. So 0.5 seems okay. Let's see what happens if I turn the light off in my room, if I can reach the light as well as the there we go. Let's turn the light off. I don't know if it's gone down. Oh, there you go. The light has gone down, and we can see in there the light has gone down, way down now. And because of that, it's changed the prefab to the gargoyle. So now we have a gargoyle flapping its wings, which is pretty cool. And we can see the light estimation. It's reading in 0.2. So when the light was on, it was 0.7. When it's off, it's 0.2. Now it's not completely off. I've got a desk light on as well. So obviously if it was completely off, it would lose tracking. So when you're doing that, keep that in mind for your game. You don't want people to think that they need to switch the light off completely. And I've switched the light back on again now. So it should, I think, but it should switch back to stone, which is what you're seeing now, which is great. So that's working. We've got the basic thing working, which is brilliant, and we know the reading is around 0.5 up and down, right? So let me just switch this off of instant preview, but just by pressing the play button again. And we've got some errors, but again, I think we can just ignore these. We don't need to worry about this. I think they'll be fixed in an update. So I mean, there you go. That's how you do it. That's how light estimation works. How you can use it. It's incredible because it's actually just one line of code technically to work out what the light intensity is, and everything after that is what you want to do with it. So I'm actually going to stop here, but I have added in a whole bunch of other stuff like this rigid body, and I've made it so that these are inside a parent object. I've done that for a reason, because I want to extend this tutorial a little bit more and add some extra features, like a bit more of a transition between the two maybe, and of course have this gargoyle flying a little bit, and then, you know, kicking in the rigid body and stuff. If you want to keep on watching the next few tutorials, that's up to you. If you just wanted that that light estimation stuff, that's how you do it, that one line of code. And yeah, please leave a like and a comment, of course, if you liked the video, and I will see you in the next video where we get this gargoyle flying and maybe add in a transition between the two. Alright, see you in the next video.